Welcome to the Lift Oneself podcast. I'm your host, Nat Nat. And today we're going to dive into something that you may know, or you may be like, what is this? It's Akashic readings. And I have Kanika with me that is going to do a live reading with me. So I'm going to be transparent and let you see my personal, experience with this, and also build trust to see the skills and the gift that Kanika has, so that you're able to see what this modality can do for you. So, Kanika, could you introduce yourselves to the listeners and myself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what Akashic readings are?
Yeah, definitely. So I am a business expansion coach and I work with the Akashic Records to help people build profitable and impactful businesses. When I say I'm a business expansion coach or an energy expansion coach, I'm really helping people have more energy, be more inspired in their daily life and their daily business. And I work with that, combining the energy part, the identity part, and the strategy part. And my Akashic readings are a beautiful way of doing that because I tune into the Akashic records to understand your soul blueprint. What have you come here for? What is your divine purpose? And really help you align and get there faster. Akashic records are the mystical library that hold all the information about us. Not just information in this lifetime, but information across lifetimes. So if I look at myself right now, I might think, oh, I'm just Kanika and I'm this person. And yet, all the listeners will be able to think of moments where you've had an idea or something's just come to you and you haven't read it, you haven't seen it somewhere, but it's just come to you. And that coming is from this Akashic field, all the intuitive hits, everything that just comes, that is stored in your Akashic field. So, this is the library of all your knowingness, all the experiences that you've had in this lifetime or other lifetimes, all the fun things that your soul has done, all that wisdom is available to you through the Akashic records. It also contains the information about some of the trauma that we might have experienced. But when you heal the trauma in the Akashic field, that's when you really start healing it at a much deeper level in this lifetime as well. Um, if I give an example, in this lifetime, you might be with your partner and you might be having, the issue around, hey, you didn't close the toilet seat. That might be a repeated thing. But why is it really happening? What is the deeper pattern behind it? When you start looking at the Akashic records, it does not just look at the toilet seat issue. It looks at why you're rubbing off on each other. What is the deeper pattern? It looks at what are you both meant to do together in this relationship. It clears up the previous agreements, promises, ties that you might have had that rub you off incorrectly. And so the whole issue evolves. It's not the toilet seat issue goes away, but you also develop a lot more affinity because the root of that problem is healed. It's not just the minute symptom itself.
Yeah. I think we're going to have a very deep conversation and be able to bring the mystical language into a simplified way so that people can really relate to it, not just theorize or um, philosophy, like really put it in a practical way so that they can see what that inner work looks like, and taking that responsibility for self, because it's very easy to blame, which is an energy that brings no action. The only action you can take is within yourself, because you try to control other people's behaviors or try to tell them what to do when you can barely even control your own behaviors and the things that you do with commitments and trying to change and all that. So it's really bringing back that curiosity to see, what is this teaching me? What can I learn to grow into relationships? Because we can get really stuck in not knowing how to communicate and not being willing to open up to see how, that's bothering or harming somebody else. Context, I think, is something that lacks a lot in society. And context doesn't mean it's an excuse, it's a map of where you want to go and what you want to do. But a lot of people are just right or wrong or get rid of this, and they don't know how to kind of be in the pain of trying to change and communicate and reveal their vulnerability, reveal their sensitivity. Would you join me in a mindful moment before we continue and go further, just so we can ground ourselves and connect more?
Absolutely. Love that.
So I'll ask you to get comfortable in your seating. And if it's safe to do so, you're going to gently close your eyes or soften your gaze. And you're going to begin breathing in and out through your nose if it's comfortable. If not, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And you're going to bring your awareness to watching your breath go in and out. You're not going to try and control your breath. You're just going to be aware of its rhythm, allowing it to guide you into your body. You're safe to feel. You're safe to let go. Surrender the need to control. Release the need to resist and just be. Be with your breath. Drop deeper into your body. Now, there may be some thoughts or to-do lists that have popped up in your mind, and that's okay. Gently bring your awareness back to your breath, creating space between the awareness and the thoughts, and dropping deeper into the body, into the moment, into presence. Again, more thoughts may have popped up. Gently bring your awareness back to your breath, beginning again, creating even more space between the awareness and the thoughts, and completely surrendering into the breath, into the moment, into time, allowing yourself to just be in your being, being aware of that rhythm, watching it go in, feeling it go out. Now taking a deep breath in through your nose and a gentle exhale out of your mouth. Another deep breath in through your nose and gentle exhale out of your mouth. One more deep breath in and let it all go. Now, at your own time and at your own pace, you're going to gently open your eyes while staying with your breath.
That was beautiful.
How's your heart doing?
Lovely.
It's a beautiful space to be in.
Yeah.
So, we're going to do the Akashic reading, yet In that, I'm curious, what brought you into this space? Was it something always taught to you, or did you stumble into it in your adult life? What brought you into this aspect of really honing into your gift?
Great question. So I grew up very much, I suppose, in my sense, that was normal. People were not, they were spiritual, but they were not really tapping into their gift. So I grew up very much, I suppose, like most people in the world, disconnected from my gifts. I'm an engineer by background, an MBA professional, and I had a very ambitious upbringing. And I bring that because the more ambitious you are, you start defining your own worth by the metrics outside in terms of salary, in terms of what have you done with your marriage, kids, etc. Right? So in terms of outside metrics, my life looked really good when I was in my mid 30s. I was traveling everywhere. I was doing really well. Looked amazing. Inside, I was feeling very disconnected. I had a 2 year old son at the time, and I was pregnant. And it was the hardest pregnancy, not medically, but it was very hard because I was just not happy.
Mhm.
I was feeling completely disconnected from life. And although everything seemed okay on paper and there wasn't anything wrong that I could pick out and say, this is what's missing, I just did not want to live anymore.
Mm.
It felt so meaningless. It felt so depressive. Um, and I didn't have any tools then. So I would just distract myself, get busy, all the things that I knew then. I did start looking into meditation, and meditation was a far off thing for me because I could not still my mind at all. Not even 2 minutes. But then the unthinkable happened. One day I woke up, I had not felt any movement in my womb. And I went to the hospital, realized that my baby had no heartbeat. So I had to give birth to my daughter. She was 31 weeks old.
Mm.
So she was fully formed. And that whole experience was life changing. I had been able to escape my life before. I was able to drown myself in work, distract myself, do other things. For the first time, this was something I could not escape because I just could not undo being a mom to her and not being a mom. I missed her and I wanted to really connect with her. I had so many emotions coming up then, and they had to be for me so overwhelming because I had managed to escape them before that. This was the time when I felt the shock, the grief, the shame, the guilt, all of that. Like, how could I lose her as a mom? Um, all sorts of things came up. And so that is the time I became very intentional that I really needed to live on, but I needed to find a way to live. I had my 2 year old son, so I could not check out on life. And I said, look, and I think that was that moment where I had to have faith,
Yeah.
total faith. And I had to believe in the universe because I wanted to connect with my daughter. So the question of faith was not there, like she was there. I could not imagine that she just was not there at all. I needed that. So that was the time I think first of all, I connected with faith totally, that there would be something that is bigger than me. And I said, hey, universe, you've got to help me. You've got to give me a way to live. And I need to connect with my daughter. So, in terms of wanting to connect with her, I reached out first to some intuitives, um, and they did shares things about my daughter, but still felt foreign. So I said, I've got to learn it myself. I've got to feel it myself. And then they say that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So my
Yeah.
teacher appeared. I found a brilliant teacher who taught me how to connect with my daughter. That was my first time learning to be clairvoyant. So I'm a trained clairvoyant. That's how the journey started. And since then, I've had multiple teachers. I've graduated from all of them, like literally learning every single thing that they could teach me at the time. And they've gone like, we have nothing else to teach you now. So I've moved on from teachers to teachers like that. Um, and when I connected with my daughter, this was the most beautiful thing. I went to her feeling really sorry. My first statement to her when I connected with her was that, I'm sorry I lost you. I failed as a mom. And her response was, no, I was never meant to be born. So she and I, we already had an agreement before I came in this lifetime. The agreement was that if I was going to waste this lifetime, she was going to come and wake me up. She is. So that is the beautiful contract that we have. And I'm so blessed that she did that. She is also my oracle teacher from a past lifetime. I was her progeny. So I think as I tune into the Akashic Records, I tap into that. I tap into that time. She is my teacher from that lifetime. So all my work after that has been more inspired by her. She's quietly shown me the way forward. This is what I should do. And I have realized how much more and more that the path that I'm walking is the path that I was meant to do all along, only that I had forgotten it when I was trying to chase those outside goals. Oh, now I'm on my path. And as much as the story is hard at a physical level, it's also deeply peaceful. And I feel for me, it was such a blessing because it changed my life from the dark place to this inspiring and expansive place.
Um, so the universe, like I said, connects people. My friend just lost her baby on Monday. She gave birth on Saturday and he passed on Monday. Yet in 2022, she lost her daughter. So she has two children at a very young age that have transitioned. So the pain that she's in right now, um, as she said, it's not a foreign place yet to be activated in that. And pain does wake us up if we're willing. I just, I'm in the midst of editing my book called The Gift Wrapped in Sandpaper because I had lesions in my brain and was told I was going to die. So that deep surrender and faith cracked me open and awakened me to start using my own gift that I had buried and left to the side to be on the outside. And I think, you know, it's almost like you had a premonition through your pregnancy what was to come and a preparation of what that somber feeling was. And some people may be like, no, yet if we tap in a little more, we're very wise and very intuitive with energy. We just ignore it because we're so programmed for the world to tell us what it has to be, rather than listening to that inner guidance and preparation of where that is. And the alchemy that you've done is like tremendous. Uh, Life is just magical when we allow ourselves to open up, not to what we expect or what we're trying to plan and figure, that we listen to the guidance within. And some of it is a rocky road, some of it is very painful, some of it is very elative and joyous. Yet, this is what the human experience is. We're not here just to have a
Yeah.
spiritual one.
Mhm. I can say that I wasn't courageous at the time. I had no
No?
idea. I was literally walking. I did not even know at that time that I was walking. Like, I fully remember myself then not even able to just go out to the and do groceries
Yeah.
because I was so torn and I was so heartbroken at the time that I felt that if anybody looked at me, it didn't matter who, it didn't matter if I knew them or not, but I just knew that I would just break out
Yeah.
and I would just be a whole mess of tears. So there was no courage at all. So
I
I
think
just
that
want to,
was courageous. I think sometimes we don't know what the definition is. It is
well, I
courageous to
think,
expose yourself and know that you're so raw in public and know that like I am so feeling so transparent, but I'm still having the courage to be out here and expose myself a little by little. That takes courage.
yeah, I think maybe that seed was there, but I think in terms of coming up and, saying, "Oh, I have this coaching business, I'm going to inspire other coaches." It just happened step by step.
Of course.
For me, my daughter, now I realize my teacher, she's been the biggest leader, the biggest change driver.
Yeah.
I have been always very fond of kids. If I look at my own archetype, I'm just a mom. Like, I love kids. Any kid, I love kids. I was growing up and I just had all these young kids around me. I just loved their energy. So, the best way to get work done through me, the inner work, I mean, which is the hardest, was to have kids there.
The
I think they
mirror.
could have, yeah, they could have not used a better lever. And it's because she's there. It's just a much bigger pull, and then it gets easier as well because there's just you would walk the hard yards for your kid.
Mhm,
I do that for her and
mhm,
my son. Both pull me in different ways.
mhm. They would. They have different one's on the other side of love, this one's on this side of love. So it's going to mirror and have a different relationship with what that love feels like and what that
Correct.
love expands into. And
Yeah.
it's not a comparison. And we tend to want to compare, oh, one is more than the other. It's like, it's just different. It's just a different
No.
way of expansion. Or is it the same?
Um, it is different. Uh, I think one stretches me more on the spiritual side.
Hmm.
My son helps me bring all of that reality onto earth.
Mm. Yeah, so that spectrum, then that's what I mean by different, that there's one part of the spectrum and the other part, but it's all connected into one. But most people are only focused on one side and or the other side, not seeing it that it's all connected as one big spectrum of being able to expand and grow, not just be limited in on one side, that you're able to see the whole expansion of the spectrum.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking about time and you know, that has been a strong theme for me several years. My friend passed away from cancer in November of 2025, 24. Wow, we're in 26 already. And um, and that, like, when I think about it, it's it's like yesterday, yet I know it's a long time ago. It's very blurry. I held her while she took her last breath. I was with her for the 9 days in hospice, and I was with her for the 18 months of her cancer journey from her diagnosis of only 3 months, but being able to live for 18 months. So really, really understanding how as you know, you said it so beautifully about are we letting time control us or are we actually creating time? And can you expand a little bit of what you are engaging with time right now?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. I think a lot of us, we tend to be consumers in life. By consuming, I mean we get up, we are scrolling social media, looking at our emails, we're consuming information. We're not intentional with time. And time, yes, everybody has 24 hours, but time has a stretchiness to it. Um, So, what are you doing with your time? How
Mhm.
intentional are you with your time? Almost the way in which we eat our food, sometimes we can get very intentional with what are we eating. I suppose the best gift that we have is time. How much time do we have, and where do I want to spend that time? So get intentional with that. If you're just living your life, if either time is just running life for you, I've got to go from here to here and here, then you're operating in life. If you are a leader, you are designing your life, which also means you're designing your time. And there you start being intentional. You start being intentional by, first of all, prioritizing what is the stuff that's really important for you. So you prioritize your own rest and relaxation, your family time, whatever your non-negotiables are, you prioritize that. Then you start putting in the other thing that's important. As a business owner, it might be your CEO time, it might be the critical activities that you need to do. But it's you get really intentional and put that in bucket by bucket. If you can be intentional with your time and do actually zero of what you do not enjoy or what is not expanding you, you will grow by leaps and bounds. And you will
Mhm.
find that life rewards you as well, because you will get more of those opportunities because now you have more space to do more of the stuff that expands you. But get really intentional with your time. You want to grow? Like the first step, get intentional with your time.
Mhm. I think, can you explain intention for in your own definition? Because a lot of people hear that word, but they're not able to really grasp what intention really means.
What do you want to create?
Mhm.
That's your intention. Not consuming. Consuming is very passive. So instead, think of your day, week, month as what do I want to create? And you might not think of yourself as a creator, but what is the life that you want to have? Start with that. If you are a business owner, think around your business and think about your life, because both work together. What is the life that you want to create? And start with that. What is your most important thing that you want? Start with that version of yourself that you would like to be. I would actually say don't start with a 1 year or a 2 year, the New Year resolutions. Don't start with that, but start with a 10-year version. And there's a reason I say that, because when we say the 1 year or the 2 year, we really think in just terms of 1x or 2x. When you start thinking the 10x, that's when you can really think, okay, in 10 years, maybe I want to be this speaker. I want to be this sort of business owner. I want to be this sort of leader. You can really think the broad goals and then go into that vision. From there, say, okay, what should I be doing today? And see, okay, if I'm operating at that level, then there's some of the activities that I'm doing right now that I will not do. Like I might not spend 2 hours watching something on Netflix.
Mhm.
That might be one of the things that goes away, but you operate or you connect with that identity of you that you want to become, and really high level identity. And then you look back at yourself and you start cutting out the stuff that you don't want, and you start being really intentional, because what is that higher part of you, that higher self of you going to do? And you become intentional and very focused on that.
Well explained. Belief is one of our strongest attributes, and it's one of the ones that can destroy us the most and can limit us the most. And many of us haven't really learned what beliefs can do and how, just having 1 or 2 or 3 beliefs is good, but many of us have 10,000, and that's why there's so much chaos and confusion and then stagnant, and also not living life fully and authentically because those beliefs are like prison walls, and gates to protect you. So it's like the allegory cave. You're in the cave, you feel safe, then you're looking at this and this level. But eventually, when you crawl out of the cave, you realize, oh, that belief that that cave was keeping me safe was no different than being out there and being able to be in the expansion and in experiencing life, experiencing the as is of reality rather than trying to protect it all the time. And that's what belief systems lead you to think you have control. But really, you're just trying to control your reaction and your capacity with the as is of reality and how you're going to perform in that.
Yeah, well said. Beliefs are just a structure that we are standing on. They're like the foundation. Um, so it depends on your beliefs, what you're really thinking, what you will aspire for. An example I could give here is, let's say you really believe that you are going to be the world's best selling writer. And that's your belief. You have a core belief. So you're going to, maybe you don't know that right now, but you believe that one day you will become that. The way you will look after yourself and you will hone your writing skills is going to be very different. You might engage a coach, you might start writing, and you will get very diligent with doing it. You will might be at the average level or even below average, but you will continuously focus on improving yourself because you are like, okay, this is my belief. I'm going to become this one day, my belief or my intention, and this is where I'm going. You will be very focused at gaining that mastery step by step. But let's say your belief is, oh, I can never do this. I wanted to write the book. I might not be able to write it. You might still try very hard, but if your belief is not that strong, everything then just fluffs out. The energy just gets totally dispersed, and the output, your novel might not even come out ever because it's the belief that drives you.
Yeah. Um, and, you know, I think a lot of us don't realize ourselves. We don't do the excavation and the exploration of know thyself. Know, and for me, how I define trauma is it's a space that separates you from self. And self is God, Allah, your higher power that connects you into your life force. So trauma just created that space because it feels too threatening to be in that vulnerability, that sensitivity, into that intuition. And it kind of separates you from your body, from feeling and being able to process emotions and everything else. But once you start doing that work of taking away the space and connecting back in, that's where it's like, oh, this is where my authentic self has been, and I didn't realize I had to do the journey inside. I've been trying to go outside to find myself where it's been within, inside. And it is like you said, with giving birth to your daughter and what that depression looked like. And I think people don't realize, like, they want this instant fast, it was overnight. And it's like, no, things like at the soil level take time to root and grow. And when we are, cultivating and shifting into different things, there is a part of the human experience that is going to be heavy. It's going to have depression, it's going to have rage, it's going to have the feelings of anger, lethargy, confusion. Yet, if we can stay in that space and not try to make meaning or understand, but really allow ourselves to be in that unknown space, there's such magical things that transpire, and things that we didn't even know was possible because we start allowing ourselves to be that vessel, that conduit. And, when you were saying, like, for the intention, one thing that I always ask people, rather than what do you want to do, I always ask them, what do you want to create? Especially with children, because they're asked, like, what do you want to do? What kind of career do you want to do? Rather than what do you want to create? Because if you want to create something, it's going to invigorate you. But if you're just tethered to a paycheck, that's going to be a very depressing, reduce your energy and dim your light, and feel very sluggish of getting up. Yet if you're creating something, there's that inner spark that just gets fed and gets that curiosity going. Would you agree on that?
Oh, totally. Totally. I think the way of human template, the way our societies have it, it's not really functioning.
No.
Think about it. And really could see the contrast, because while I was in grief, mourning my daughter, trying to understand what had happened, my son was 2 years old. And 2 years old kids, if you have not seen them recently around, they are full of energy. There's something to be watched out because you don't know what they're going to do any minute. They're also so full of life. Like my son would look at just paper and he would get really excited at this noise that it made or the way it crinkled up. He would get very excited with water. Everything was very exciting. And I would look at him because I was so deep in my sorrow. And I would look at him and I would go, what happened here? Like he is so happy, so full of joy. And what transpired between with us as humans from that age when we were so full of life to now, what shifted in between, that we grow up and we're not that happy and excited. And I think it's just like what you say, there are parts of us that are much bigger than us, and they're all taken away bit by bit. Might start in schools where we start feeling less because some places we don't get as much grades, or we might feel compared to other students. We might feel, hey, I don't know this subject as well as my other friends do. And we start feeling small, little by little by little. There's the labeling in society as a human way of operation that we all do, but that labeling keeps on making us smaller and smaller. And that's where we start getting disconnected, less peaceful, and we feel less limit. We feel more limited. We feel like we cannot expand beyond things. So I love your idea about creation, because when you say create, then we can pull in all the parts of ourselves. Anything when you're creating, ask any artist, they will tell you that they don't have all the pieces together when they're creating. It's not a linear process that you do A and B. They do not have all the steps formed out, but things just happen and they come together because that creation is coming from something that is much bigger than you. When you create, you're actually tapping into the wholeness of you. And again, you might not be a writer, you might not think of yourself as a creator, but we create even when we are cooking. We create
Mhm.
when we are having joy. We create when we connect, whatever makes us expand and feel good and joyous. That's the time when we are creating.
Mhm.
And your job is to create. We
Mhm.
came on earth to create. So I love you
Yeah,
asking that.
very much so. I think a lot of people don't realize how impactful their energy is. So when you're creating and whatever energy you're feeling, you're putting that energy into whatever you're creating. We're imparting, we're feeling bodies that think. We go by vibration and frequencies. So, there's a difference. Anybody, if they're listening, you know that when you've cooked a meal and you've been angry and irritated, it tasted one way. Where if you've been open and loving and just floating and singing and enjoying it, it's tasted a different way. And the way our energy is with our body, it has an impact on how we're creating also. Like we can see in sports too, a lot of them have to hype them up themselves with possibly aggression and adrenaline and all that because they need a force to be able to execute something in a limited time. So a lot of people like stereotype things, but it's like, how are you using that energy to create? And what is the intention of that creation? So, really being mindful and really coming back to owning your own power in what that looks like for you and listening to that inner guidance, because you may have something in your mind that has been percolating, yet you keep dismissing it because you think nobody would want it, or you think that it's irrelevant, or who am I to even think that? Yet, until you take action with it, you won't have the support. You are the person that needs to activate it and go through that veil of fear And the fear is just trying to protect you, yet it's to allow yourself to see you don't need that protection anymore, that you are able to come back within yourself and listen to that guidance and take some steps with that creation, and really remove the comparison trap of what that needs to look like. For everybody, it's going to be different. What you need is much different than what somebody else needs. But we are so geared to comparing ourselves, especially with social media, that they give a certain lifestyle that's the place that you want to be in. Yet, if you really look at some of those lifestyles, if you were to talk to those people, they're very insatiable with a black hole, always having to fill it because there is no satisfaction. There is no being able to be present in the moment. They're always in the future trying to gain, 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 gain. And you're not even able to be present with the people that are right in front of you. And that is the biggest gift, because we realize after, when people have transition, it's like, I wish I would have had more time. I wish I would have said this, or I wish I would have did that. Yet we just didn't know how to be as present as we could in that moment that we did have as a gift.
Okay. And do you have any intention here? Anything that you want to know?
I have two questions. I'd like to hear what my ancestors want me to know. And
Mhm.
I have, what is the next level I'm going into?
Yeah, maybe let's look at that one. What's the next level? I'm just clearing the field here. Okay, do I have permission to go into your Akashic Records?
Yes, you do.
Okay, all right. So I'm just going to open your Akashic Records, and maybe I should have actually said this rather than asking you, because this is going to be for all the listeners as well. Is it okay if we make it something that's going to be valid for all the listeners? Because I think that was your bigger intention before this.
Yeah. And if there's something of a personal message, it can go with both. So whatever the guidance is for you.
Okay, all right. Okay. Okay, so what I'm asked to tune into is really, what are you stepping into? Like, what is your purpose? What's your business purpose? What are you looking at? What is the thing that you are growing? Um, there is almost like a portal that you have crossed. Um, it's You have been going through a lot of stuff. Some of it that we've mentioned during this podcast already, but it's like a period of darker time. You've shed, you've really grown into yourself, and that is giving you the rite of passage now as you move onwards. That's leading you to expansion, because the previous path that I see, it's pretty dark, and you're going into a golden phase, which is a lot more with light, lot more on your path. The previous phase might have felt where it felt confusing. It felt sometimes questioning whether you were on the right path or not, whereas this one is a lot where you feel aligned. I'm also seeing this one um, more like horizontal. Usually, when I see it more as a path ahead. So I'm just wondering why that is. But I'm seeing here that you are actually being connected to your guides. There are, maybe you've already started seeing them, but there are guides, your spiritual guides, and you will be more in contact with them. And they're the ones who will be able to show you they will be able to help you go on your path in a much more faster way, give you a lot more clarity. Clarity is the word that I'm getting. That where it's felt sometimes like you were doing this or you're waiting for the right signal and all of that to happen, whereas now you're shifting to a place where you will get a lot more clarity. It is almost also as if you have done this for a long time, like your spiritual journey, your business as well, you've done that for a long time. It is also that I'm seeing the image of you as a bride, and your spirit guide, I see two of them. One of them is really walking on the side like your father, and then there's another one as well. She's a female, she's on the side. Okay, this is what I'm getting. They're your ancestors. Um, one of them, the lady, is your ancestor. She's either your grandmother or your great grandmother, and then there's your dad. And then as you're walking through as you're walking as a bride, this is not so much signifying a marriage. This is taking you into the world, and they're showing you this is a new, like, when you marry, the world changes, and you're also seen in the world in a different way. So this is that sort of ceremony where you are taken in, and this is a ceremony where you are taken in, and it's almost like getting you crowned as the queen. Like, this is the new stage that you have, this is the new throne that you have, this is the new person that you're becoming. It is signifying you as a new person, how you are coming into life. And yeah, you seem like a bride, because this is a new change, and you are a maiden of sorts here, because but there is a lot of expansion that's going to happen for you too, but there's a huge degree of purity here. Like, you've healed and you have shed so much that in a spiritual sense, now you are pure, and now you are walking that path. So when you sit on your throne now, and when others are watching you, there's just a whole lot more acceptance of you. And your guides are with you to guide you and help you on the journey. And you are more rising in your power. You're becoming confident in yourself. I'm just watching your guides, because your guide, one of them seems to be like your father. The other one seems to be, she hasn't said much yet, but your father figure wants to come out. And I'm just tuning into his message for you. Um, so this is a beautiful message. The message that he's reading for you is that earlier in life, for you, it might have been that you felt like you were very much in a patriarch society, and there was a degree of expectation with you. Not just expectation, but rules imposed on you on how things should be and how you need to conform. And there also might have been a lot of disharmony and disagreement between you and him, whether spoken or not. And this is him coming here, and he is walking the aisle with you, and he's making amends, and he's saying, now I understand that you're actually really the queen. So he is now giving you a ring. I I think it's got something to do with your marriage. Why I'm seeing all of this, it's not that you are marrying, but it is more that you are stepping into your future self. But he is giving you the ring here, and he is being the dad, that would have walked the aisle down with his daughter. And he's just showing how much trust, how much faith he's got for you. That's what he believes, and that's how he's seeing you now. And the grandmother here seems to be from his side, his mom. And she's standing on the side and she's watching everything. And just really, she's very happy that your dad's come around. And this is what he's saying, that he's showing his total support for you. Your grandma is also saying that she fully sees you, she fully acknowledges who you are becoming. And if there were any differences, she's understanding and fully supportive of you now. All right. I think I got that. That was the message that needed to come through.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel that. I see it in a different sometimes people want things literally, but you have to see it symbolically. I really see that, as I said before the podcast, things are changing and I'm taking rest, but I know that there's going to be a faster pace with time. And that ring in bride is the commitment to myself of stepping into this next phase. And knowing that I'm supported in that, even with the doubts or the fears, that there is support and that I'm not alone, but really stepping into that commitment and having a blessing with it.
Yeah. And where he had doubts with you before, he's now fully supportive and he fully sees what you're stepping into. So you've
Mm-hmm.
got all the support to step in, which is beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Okay. And just downloading that all for myself. And for any listeners that were listening, each reading is specific to you. So when she's giving the reading, there was information coming up inside me that I didn't articulate or anything. So I just want the listeners to know that this isn't just a one-way communication, it's a two-way, and allowing that guidance to start speaking from within yourself to see and hear certain things. So for me, Akashic Records allow an unveiling or things to start to appear in the forefront so that it starts to make sense of what is going on in your journey or what's to come along in your journey to better understand. So, and you saw how simple and how easy it is to do an Akashic record reading. Yet it's, I know sometimes there's skepticism or suspicion and feeling like, what is that? Yet, unless you try something, you don't know what is there. And a lot of us want to say the things that are wrong, but we've never actually experienced it. So if you're willing and there was anything that, sparked in you, reach out to Kanika so that she can bring you the modality of what may be missing in your life. So can you let the listeners know where they can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So reach out to me at Kanika Energy Coach on Instagram or LinkedIn, and I'd be so happy to hear from you. I would just like to add that for the Akashic reading, we only went in here probably for 7 minutes because I'd closed my eyes. I don't know. But when I'm working with the clients, I work mainly on healing them as well. So probably about maybe 15 minutes of the reading is actually the reading. The most part that we do is the healing so that you're actually able to step into your highest expansion. So we got some answers, but typically when I'm working with you, you'll feel it in your body because I'm really working with you. You'll feel it. We'll scan your body. It's a very somatic experience at the same time as well. And we heal through the roots that are really blocking you.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. What is one thing, I'm going to ask you to go intuitively and see what is one message that you think the listeners need to hear right now that would empower them?
The message that I got is that you are love. A lot of us, we think that we are not loved. We think we are not enough. And the message that's coming through is that all of us are love. We are made of love. We are all connected with love. And literally, when we feel disconnected, that is because we have the pain, we have the trauma in between. We've put that artificial wall there. And I know it sounds what? Crazy. So the invitation is that if you're feeling that something's not working out, something's not okay in your life, just ask the universe, ask God, source, whoever you believe in, and just say, hey, I want more love. Show me the way. I want more love. How do I receive more love? But go in with that faith and you will be shown the light.
Thank you for that. Thank you for empowering the listeners. I want to say thank you for accepting and reaching out to be on the podcast. You have brought so much light, so much energy into, this connection. And for the listeners, anybody that is going to be listening to it. And I want to thank you for the alchemy that you've done in your own life. You've taken those impurities and you've turned them into gold. Yet you haven't kept that gold only for yourself. You're sharing it with so many other people. So I want to thank you for the bravery, the courage, and the surrender that you allowed yourself to go in to be in this new chapter. So thank you so much, Kanika. It's been an honor and a pleasure to have you as a guest.
Thank you so much, Nat Nat. It's been such a pleasure to be here as well.
Please remember to be kind and gentle with yourself because you matter.